normalize, okay, maybe your job will give you a half day, or maybe, you'll be able to get this luxury. It shouldn't be a luxury. It should be built into the system. It should be built into the fabric of how we vote. But maybe you'll be able to get this luxury in order to enable you to go vote. Think about everything disenfranchised, marginalized Black person has to endure in a day. So in a day, you need to get to work. If something happens to your car, if something happens to your child care, if something happens to, there's so many factors along the way that can send you into a tailspin as an American. And then you add on as a person of color. If you're just trying to get to vote and you already have to go through all of these hurdles and hoops in your everyday life, imagine the one day when your voice really is supposed to matter the most in this country. But then you also see all the times that you've tried to have your voice matter, and then it's been shut down, repressed.
Welcome to the stream.
Like, what's the point?
How do we keep hope though? If I'm watching this right now, how do we as a people stay hopeful? How do we believe in the promise that these quote unquote forefathers have given us?
Because have you met Black people? By
Oh, Josh, you can't get a thingy. You can't get the paintball guns. I tried to look, but you couldn't get them.
Be it through slavery, through capitalism,
I was looking for the paintball guns. Actually, now I'm gonna go and quickly get the paintball guns. I'll be right back. The stream. I'm just going to have one more. I'll give you.
We were 3/5 people.
Hey, stay in the stream. Stay in the stream a minute. Stay in the stream. Josh, stay in the stream a minute. Josh, stay in the stream. I'm gonna go and get a thing. It should be down here. Should be in there. Yeah, look, there's no quad crashes or anything. Look, there's nothing in there. Wait, I'm gonna change to a giddy up. I'm gonna stand in front of people. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. Let's giddy up. There's. Right, let's go. I'll show you the glitch. You have to go in first person now. I think that's Snoop Dogg's wife.
The people on the front line. Like, you know what?
I watched that last night and it was so worth it. Staying up.
Support all the people who are marching on the front lines, and we're going to be here doing what we
Wrong
do best
one.
here. And you know what? Somebody needs to bail them out of jail so that now we need to be in the community.
Hey, did you watch the Diplo event as well? Did you watch the Diplo event?
So whoever you are and whatever you do, play your position. So after this could look like
hello fellow black person. How are you?
You know what? My pockets go deep, so I'm gonna support the people on the front line. I'm a comedian. Black joy is a form of activism.
There's always a call for entertainers or celebrities.
Hello, fellow black person. I've only just come in here. I thought I would live stream it. Oh, look at the date. Look at the date. The date. I'm a bald person. Why are you asking for shields? I can't get a gun to shields. I've out a gun, I was shooting. Joking, I'm joking. It's fun. I'm going. Hey, comment down below. This is a good date. Oh no, my controller's gonna die. It's on 0 bars.
In terms of ways that we can actually be more uplifting to the community.
Wait, I was gonna do this.
You may not even realize it.
Before I let you go, talk to me about the urgency, in your opinion, for people to vote, our people to get out and vote this coming election.
Yeah, I mean, guys.
Back in a minute. I'm gonna go and get my charger in a minute.
We cannot take this sitting down. We can't take this jokingly. I understand that it may be hard to figure out who to vote for. But at the end of the day, we got to vote for our families. We got to vote for our legacies. We got to vote for continued progress. We have to vote for upward mobility. We have to vote for equality in a way that is long lasting. And if we succeeded before, we can do it again. You talk about the hope. This is the time. This is not the time to give up. This is not the time to pretend away that we haven't made progress. We have. There's still much more to be done. And you know what? We might have to get to a point where we pass the baton to our children and our children's children, but we still have work to do now for that generation.
Yvonne Orji, you are everything. You are Molly, but you are not Molly, but I love you so much as Molly on HBO's Insecure. You are an amazing podcaster, Jesus and Jola. Shout out to Lovey. And then we also have movies. Like you, The World, you're a model, a cover model. Also, wait, don't let me forget your hugely successful stand-up comedy special on HBO. Girl, you're doing it all. And I am so grateful. You're truly the dream, not just the American dream. You're the black girl, brown girl, do it all dream, the immigrant dream, everything. You are a beautiful, beautiful soul. I really, really mean that from my heart. Yvonne Orji, ladies.
I love you so much, Mama. Mwah.
Yeah, la la.
So Atlanta has been one of the hotbeds in terms of political unrest and social injustice. We've seen so much happen in that city, and we've also seen so much come from that city, including one of our very own founding.
God's sake, I don't know why Lily can't do it. I'm in my pajamas. I don't know why Lily can't do it. I'm in my pajamas.
Use this platform to talk about
I'm legit in my pajamas.
justice and how he's trying to help. Atlanta's very own Russ joins us now. Russ, I'm not going to fan out and tell you what some of my favorite songs were that I listened to repeat on yours. We're going to get to the topic at hand. So we got to talk about, recently you did an interview where you shared your outlook on culture and music. And you also were very candid about the fact that you have a privilege and that it's necessary for you to give back. Tell everybody about what that means.
It's very obvious I'm white and I'm in black culture and I'm benefiting financially off of it. So I feel like if you're a white person financially benefiting off of black culture, you have to put finances back into black culture. So it's that simple. The screenshots with your feelings, it just comes off like fake empathy because it comes off very dismissive and very oh, that sucks for y'all, but anyway, back to what I was doing.
Have you felt that way always, or is it now because of the time of where we are in this country?
I've always had the feeling. I think now it's just obviously elevated. It's a new level and there's new, it's to the point now where you can't, first of all, you can't not say anything. Second of all, though, I just think saying something isn't enough anymore. I think, if you have the ability to put money back into a culture that you're financially benefiting from, have the ability to, you should.
It's interesting that you talk about it in that way because some people do believe that silence is the best way to go because it's hard to talk race, especially if you're white and you're in the black culture. People just feel as if they can't talk about it. They feel awkward. They feel as if they don't have the privilege of the voice or the words. How do you find yourself right now in terms of interacting with people when they want to talk to you about social injustice, police brutality, what's going on in this country right now?
Well, first of all, picking and choosing whether you want to be silent or not about race, that's a privilege in and of itself. But no, I try to just do my best to listen to the black people around me and the educated black people I have in my life. So I do my best to not act like I have all the answers for everything, especially in a culture that I'm not from. But that's why when we decided to raise the money for Black Lives Matter organizations, when we raised $500,000, we got on the phone with some of the women who started Black Lives Matter. I got on the phone with Tamika Mallory. I was on the phone with Karen Civil and talking with my friends to make sure the money went to the correct places, and people who really need it. It's just about listening. That's all. It's about listening.
Let's talk about that for a moment because the way I think of activism, for me, it looks very different. It's not necessarily just protesting on the front lines. I think that's great. But what about
Karen?
being an activist in the way in which you have decided to be one, what inspired you? What did you do?
Mhm.
Walk us through everything that you did and how you find yourself in this moment right now.
So for me, it was 3 years ago. I had like a string of festivals, and I decided that I was going to wear T-shirts with a message on them because I figured, what better, what better time to use a platform than in front of a bunch of people. So one of the T-shirts, "We want to change the system," speak up, white silence is pro-racism, the whole thing. And it didn't really like. But when all this stuff started happening again, and it's been happening, the police brutality against innocent black people, I was like, man, I'm not the biggest artist in the world, but I got a good amount of people that I can definitely mobilize and spoken anyway, and so how am I going to be in black culture and not be outspoken about racism?
And then I got to ask you this, because you grew up in Atlanta, so that gives you a heads up, depending for so many people, because you're in the crux of that beautiful black city where there are so many wonderful black leaders. And we are really, really getting our word out. Use our voice to vote. Talk to me about what the importance of voting for you in this upcoming election.
I had never voted before, ever. And because, I was one of those people who was like, my vote doesn't matter. And, and I don't know, maybe it's because I was younger, maybe it's because I really thought that, or I don't know. But I just think that it's got to, now this is a bit of a privilege to say it's got to a breaking point for me, because obviously it's been past the breaking point for black people. But I think that as a whole, the young people need to get out and vote, because we're the ones that never show up. You know what I mean? We never show up to vote, but we're the future. So it's like, look, we got to go out there and vote, and then whatever happens, but at least we did our part. You got to do your part.
You're very candid in saying that you just decided to vote, and I think there's a beautiful irony in the fact that you have your fans saying, because of you, I'm voting.
Right.
And there's something beautiful in this moment. Is it important for you to vote? And what hit your spirit to say, yes, this is the time to do it?
Honestly, because I think that George Floyd really woke up a lot of people who, including myself, who I was vocal and outspoken about racism. I put it in my lyrics, I put it on T-shirts, I would talk about it in interviews, like, I was vocal about it. But that video, in that moment, I think me, along with a lot of other people, just kind of was like, all right, like, words are simply not enough anymore. We gotta do something, whether it's raising money, whether we got to do something, and I'm ashamed that it took that for me to be like, I need to raise money and I need to vote. It's a shame, and I don't know. I guess it snapped a bunch of people out of it, And even if you were vocal and whatnot, it's time to actually put your money where your mouth is. It's time to go vote. It's time to just stop talking about it. Like I said,
anyone from Fed? No, anyone from Fed? Your PS4, do be loud though. Shut up, Lily.
I know that this is going to be your first time voting. Tell me what that experience is going to be like for you in terms of what you're excited about.
I think what it's going to do for me. It's going to let me know that I'm contributing to something bigger than myself, and I'm actually putting my money where my mouth is, and I'm being about it. Because for so long, and I know I'm not alone with this, but standing on the outside and just screaming about this and that and this should change, and it's like, all right, but did you vote? And so I know it's gonna feel good to know that I played a small role, and that's the problem. I think the mentality of like, my vote doesn't matter needs to be changed to, my vote, albeit small, does matter. It's a role I'm playing, and if I play my part and you play your part and he and she plays their part, then we make a difference. But you know, it'll feel. I have a feeling it's gonna feel very, very bigger than me. I mean, I think when you realize that giving actually feels better than receiving, that's when you start wanting to do your part. And contribute. So, voting is an easy way to.
I don't know.
Yeah. To whom much is given, much is required, and you've been given a huge platform. We are so grateful.
Ross.
Philanthropist, artist,
Activist.
community activist, first-time voter. We appreciate
Okay.
you doing this, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Hip hop music. Whoa.
So cities like Atlanta and Chicago have been at the forefront of the discussions, especially now in this country when we're talking about COVID-19 and systemic racism, as well as police brutality and what we can do in this country. Again, we're continuing our conversation, letting you know that your voice is your vote, and your vote is your voice. We can change
Country.
who we are in this country. Currently, I'd like to
We're in
Chicago Cubs, right?
Hayward.
Jason Hayward. I appreciate
You.
I brought in Atlanta and Chicago
Grew
because
up.
I know you
Grew up.
metropolitan
Atlanta.
area of Atlanta, more specifically McDonough. Let's be technical.
McDonald's.
And you have
Thanks for
been
laughing.
very vocal throughout this entire time in terms of what our country's been experiencing. Let's look at
If
the
you
past
will.
month and a half, if you will. What has been the hardest
Deal with
thing
it.
for you to deal with?
I'll deal with.
To deal with Carrie this last month has just been going from the virus shutting everything down to us being called to action. We've had multiple police brutality situations. We've had people protesting, wanting to get the message out. But I really realized that I need to be a part of the positive message. Make sure that doesn't get lost in all the chaos going on. For people to actually hear from a reasonable, respectable person who cares about everyone involved.
A reasonable, respectable person who cares about everyone involved, which leads us to More Than a Vote. It is a beautiful collective of Black athletes and artists. You are a part of that. Talk to me about why that's important for you right now, and this be a part of that collective.
To me personally, it's important to be a part of that because I've somewhat used baseball and my craft as an excuse to not get more involved in it. But I can't any longer use baseball and work as an excuse not to get educated and also to
Bing a ding a ding a ding, 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 bing a ding ding. Mitrat ko ri chop da tia tia. I'm live streaming.
white teammates.
21 from Fed. I'm 21 from Fed. I'm 21 from Fed.
To me right now, social media
I'm gonna end the live stream.